What's up, everybody? This is Coach Mike back with the monthly installment. Have you been checking your portfolio, or have you been scared to check your portfolio after what happened this week with the 1,000-point drop on Monday? That's what this session is about. It's about what happens in the market. What do you do? How do you respond? How do you react? So let me share my screen and talk about what we always talk about is the market. So let me hit the share button and show with you what I have prepared. Okay, so you guys already know, right? Baltimore Stock Market Group that we meet on the first Tuesday of the month, virtually 7 p.m. About 350 members or so. I need to update that original slide. But the attendance on these monthly sessions varies from week to week, or from month to month. Let me say that. I'm your host, Coach Mike, founder of Walk On Consultants. Feel free to book an appointment with me to get started. If you need a financial coach, I am your guy. But I want you to know who I help. So I pretty much help beginners and intermediate investors. I really want to get people off the bench, get them in the game of investing, separating the fact from the fiction, eliminating your fears, and get you in the game. It's the best game in the world. So I always started off the same way with an investment, with a quote from Benjamin Franklin, that an investment in knowledge pays the best interest. That's what I'm all about. I'm a teacher and a coach. I'm here to help you learn. Okay. Just some quick disclaimers, get them out the way, that this is not investment advice, because I need to know a little bit more about you in order to truly give you investment advice. The information I'm giving you today is sort of general in nature. I don't know your risk reward tolerance. It's different for everybody. Some people are more prone to risk. Some people are really don't want to take any risk at all. So that's why I'm not giving you individual investment advice. The one thing I can say for sure is that typically, the bigger the risk, the bigger the reward, but also the bigger the risk, possibly the bigger the loss. So you've got to determine where you fall on this scale. But one thing that's guaranteed is that if you don't take any risks, you won't get any reward at all whatsoever. You won't have any losses, but I'll guarantee you that you won't have any gains. So you can stay in that low left-hand corner if you want to, and that's fine. But understand that with no risk comes no return. All right. Lastly, is that you'll see me from time to time share information from third-party sites, and that information is third-party site information, not Coach Mike's information. All right. So what are we talking about today, right? Talking about the emotions of investing in the stock market. And like I said, if you've been watching, following along, last week, this week has been really, really volatile, a lot of up and down in the market. So what do you do about the ups and downs in the market, right? This is sort of how it goes, right? You're all excited. You just opened up your new account, whether it's at E-Trade or Charles Schwab, and you're all excited. You bought your first stock and you're happy. It goes up a little bit, but then maybe quarterly earnings come out and the stock goes down. You're like, oh man, maybe I messed up. Or maybe you bought a stock tip from somebody that you met at the cookout and he don't know what he's talking about and you don't know what he's talking about. So you just bought it anyway and now it's down and you're like, I shouldn't listen to him. He doesn't know what he's talking about, right? I'm never going to do this again, right? This is what happens, right? There's a lot of emotions because it's money, right? And people get really emotional when it comes to their money. So I'm here to hopefully calm you down a little bit. And certainly the last couple of days has made people really, really emotional. But honestly, the two biggest emotions are fear and greed. People are selling because they're afraid. That's the two biggest emotions, fear. They got in because they're greedy and they won't sell it, because they're greedy. They want to hold on for more and more profits, but they sell because they're afraid. Those are the two dominant emotions. Of course, there are tons of emotions in between, but those two drive the market. Hopefully, they don't drive your decision making. Okay. By the way, there's a great article on Investopedia. I will put the link in the chat to let you read that article. Great article. What happens when fear and greed take over the market? Okay, great article from Investopedia. This is one of those third-party links I told you about, right? So this is the recap. First week of August, right? August 1st, market's down 1.37%. Then it gets worse on August 2nd, which is Friday, down 2.4%. And people are like, oh okay, I can handle that, right? I can handle that. But then Monday, down 3% on top of those two bad days on Thursday and Friday. So that was hard to swallow, right? So this is the headline, right? After the market closed on Monday, Dow falls over 1,000 points. That gets people's attention, right? Over 1,000 points, S&P down 3%. Look at NASDAQ, look at the Dow. There was no place to hide. Japan Nikkei was down 12%, worst day since 1987. Even the most uh, winning stocks like Nvidia was down 6%. And then there was a report out from that Warren Buffett sold half his stake in Apple, so that was down 4%. It was just not a good day all the way around. I mean, Goldman Sachs said now the chances of a recession are going up. So bad, 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 right? So this is what makes people like, fearful, because you had Thursday, you had Friday, and now on Monday, on top of all of that, down another 1,000 points. Okay. And this is why people say, the people that are in the industry say, yeah, the markets take the stairs up, they take the elevator down, right? That's the way it works, because that's when the fear jumps in and you get scared and you sell everything. Sort of like that roller coaster. It goes up slow, 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 slow. And you get that first drop. It's like, bam, like that's where the scary part is. But you got to hold on and understand that you are strapped in. You're not going to fall off the roller coaster. But that's just the way the markets work. They climb a slow wall of fear and then it drops all at once. And don't sell. You gotta hold on. Trust me, you got to hold on. All right. Just want to share some basic definitions with you. 5% is considered a pullback, and 10% is considered a correction. And where we are now, sort of in between. You had a 1%, a 2%, and on top of that, 3%. So we're in between a pullback and a correction. Not in a bear market. We're not down 20%. It's not crashing, regardless of what you read in these headlines. It's not a crash, right? These numbers should hopefully help you understand where we are in the market, right? It's between a pullback and a correction. This happens. Corrections are normal. Don't panic. Okay, you can see it happens 3 times a year on average, right? And it average length of 47 days. A 10% drop or more happens about once a year and lasts about 115 days. And you can see the stats right there. So don't panic. This is part of the game. If you're in the market, don't just run for the exit doors. This is part of the game. You got to take the wins and the losses. If anybody out there follows sports, you understand that maybe a football team or a baseball team may lose 3-4 games in a row and still make it to the playoffs and still win a championship, right? That's just the way it goes. There's going to be ups and downs. Nobody has wins all the time. How many times in sports have there been a team that went undefeated, right? Ever, right? I think 1973 Dolphins and I want to say the Patriots went undefeated, but then they lost the Super Bowl. That's just the way it is. Nobody just wins all the time. Nobody loses all the time, except for the Detroit Lions. I'm sorry I had to say that. Anyway, I want to get you to balance your emotions, right? And stop, ooh and on, up and down. Every time the market goes up and down, like you really, really got to balance out your emotions, because I know when your money's on the line, you're going to get hyper and get sad and get, blame yourself, second guess yourself. It's part of the game. Trust me, it's part of the game. Wise man Warren Buffett, right? The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient. So the lesson is stay calm and keep calm and stay invested. Just word from the wise old man there, Warren Buffett, right? So all of that I said, right? The market's down 1% on Thursday, another 2% on Friday, another 3% on Monday, right? Even with all of that, the S&P was still up 8.73% for the year. So if you started the year January 1st and you held on until Monday, August 5th, you still up 8%. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. Don't panic. It's still a good year. Still a good year. Even with all those ups, downs, up, downs, you still up 8%. And 2023 was a good year as well. So on top of the NASDAQ and S&P being up over 24% and 41% for 2023, you up another 8% this year. That's why you can't panic and just sell the first time it drops, right? You just can't. Stay in it, be in it for the long haul. This is a gain on top of a gain. And so we gave some back. A little pullback, correction is fine. It is fine, okay? So now I'm sure you've heard these quotes before, and you notice I quote Warren Buffett a lot because he's a smart guy, right? Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful. And from the Baron, the Rothschilds, they are legendary rich people, right? Generational wealth. The time to buy is when there's blood in the streets. Now, Warren Buffett has said that quote as well, but the Rothschild is the originator of that quote. So buy the fear and sell the greed, okay? That's why we say buy the dips. One last stat I want to share with you that hopefully this will calm you down, right? This is an election year, as we all know, right? In the last 24 elections, right? Since 1928, there have been 24 elections. The market has been up 20 out of the 24 times. So history's on your side. Now, there's no guarantee that 2024 is going to be up again, right? You can see there were 4 times and the market did not go up, but that's you still at 83% chance of the market being up this year. And so far we're up. So again, I'm hoping this is calming you down, that markets go up, markets go down. But look at the history. Out of 24 elections, 20 times the market has been up. So I'm saying, hey, it's no need to panic. Stay put. Maybe buy some more stocks of the things that went down. They were on sale. In your portfolio, you need to keep some cash on the sidelines all the time. Don't invest everything you have. Keep some cash on the side for opportunities like this. So this is what the S&P 500 looks like. And when I say diversified portfolio, I don't mean that you have to mirror this exactly, but you can see the S&P 500 is made up of 11 distinct sectors, and you should, have different sectors in your portfolio. You want to have some tech stocks, of course, like an Apple or an Nvidia, but don't forget about healthcare and financials and other sectors as well. You don't have to have all 11. You don't have to have exactly the percentages that they have, but you need to have a diversified portfolio. That will insulate you. Last two things, right? In order to you to protect your portfolio, know what type of investor you are. Every investor is different. Some people are risk takers, as I said in the beginning, right? And some people are, a little bit more conservative, a lot more conservative. You need to know about yourself, and you need to know how risky your investment is. So just because you're a conservative investor, there's going to be times when you buy risky stocks, and the opposite is true as well. Sometimes risky investors buy conservative stocks. That's all part of having a balanced portfolio. And of course, all of the other bullet points below apply to everyone, but you need to know what type of investor you are and know how risky the investment that you bought is. I always like to say that learning is a journey, it is not a destination. I've been investing since the early 90s, and I still learn new stuff all the time. So don't think that just one workshop, one video is going to teach you everything you need to know. You need to be engaged. You need to be a lifelong learner. It will make you a much better investor. So at this point, I want you to share your thoughts. We'll open the floor to discussion to everybody. If you're watching the video on YouTube, put your comments down in the chat below. And I just want to say, I'm Coach Mike. Thank you for watching.